Welcome back to the $25 Investor. Imagine something incredibly simple yet powerful enough to potentially reshape your financial future. Every single week you take just $25, not a large amount, not something that requires sacrifice or risk that keeps you up at night, just $25. The cost of a few snacks, a couple of coffees, or a small impulse purchase that you might forget about the next day. Now imagine that instead of spending it, you invest it week after week, month after month, year after year. And over time, that small, almost invisible decision begins to build something real, something growing, something working for you in the background while you continue living your normal life. This is the core idea behind this channel, turning small, consistent investments into long-term financial potential, not through timing the market, not through guessing the next big move, but through discipline, consistency, and time. And in today's video, we are focusing on a company that has been one of the most interesting growth stories in the technology infrastructure space, a company that powers the digital backbone of the modern internet. We are talking about Arista Networks, ticker symbol Arista Networks. Before we go deeper into the numbers, let's set the mindset clearly. This is not about getting rich overnight. This is about understanding how a consistent weekly habit of investing $25 can grow into something meaningful when combined with long-term growth assets like Arista Networks. Because what most people underestimate is not the amount of money they invest, but the amount of time they stay invested. If you invest $25 a week, that becomes $1,300 in a single year. That already sounds small, but now imagine stacking that over 10 years, 20 years, or even 30 years. The numbers begin to transform from small savings into serious capital building. And here is where Arista Networks becomes interesting. This company operates in the high-performance networking industry, building the infrastructure that connects massive data centers, cloud computing systems, and artificial intelligence workloads. Every time you stream a video, use cloud storage, run AI models, or access online services at scale, networks like the ones Arista Networks builds are working behind the scenes. So when you invest in Arista Networks, you are not just investing in a single company. You are investing in the expansion of global data demand, cloud computing growth, and artificial intelligence infrastructure scaling. Now ask yourself a simple question. If the world is producing more data every year, if companies are moving everything to the cloud, and if artificial intelligence requires massive networking infrastructure to function efficiently, then what happens to companies that build that infrastructure? That is the story we are going to explore today. But more importantly, we are going to connect that story back to you, to your $25 a week, to your consistency, and to what that might look like over the long term if discipline meets opportunity. Because the goal of this video is not just to explain Arista Networks. The goal is to show you how small weekly investing behavior can potentially grow into something far greater than what most people expect, if applied with patience and time. So as we move forward, keep this in mind. You are not watching this as someone trying to predict the market. You are watching this as someone learning how consistency can quietly build wealth in the background, one week at a time. And Arista Networks is the example we are going to use to make that idea real. Now let's take that idea one step further and bring it into today's focus. You are not just watching a video about investing. You are watching a real example of how a simple weekly habit, just $25, can be connected to one of the most important technology infrastructure companies in the world. In this video, we are focusing on Arista Networks, also known as Arista Networks, and we are going to break down how this company fits into a long-term investing mindset built around consistency rather than complexity. Now, before anything else, let's make something very clear. This is not about predicting short-term price movements. This is not about chasing hype or trying to guess what happens next week or next month. This is about understanding what happens when steady investing meets long-term technological growth. So let us reset the mindset. Imagine you commit to investing $25 every single week. That is not a large amount. Most people spend more than that without thinking during a single weekend. But here, instead of disappearing, that money is being directed into an asset that represents global technology infrastructure. If you invest $25 a week, that becomes $1,300 in a single year. Now, on its own, that number might not feel life-changing, but the power comes from repetition and time, because investing is not a single moment. It is a long sequence of repeated actions that build momentum over years. And this is where Arista Networks becomes especially interesting. Every time you use cloud storage, stream high-definition video, join a video call, or interact with artificial intelligence systems, there is a massive invisible network behind it. That network depends on speed, reliability, and scalability. And companies like Arista Networks are directly involved in building that foundation. Now think about where the world is going. More data is being created every second. Artificial intelligence systems require enormous computing power. Cloud platforms continue to expand globally. Companies are no longer building small local systems. They are building massive distributed networks that must operate at near perfect efficiency. All of that requires advanced networking infrastructure. This is the environment Arista Networks operates in. So when you invest even a small amount, like $25 a week, you are not just buying shares of a company. You are gaining exposure to the expansion of global digital infrastructure. You are participating in the growth of cloud computing, artificial intelligence, and large-scale data movement across the internet. Now let's connect this back to you again. If you stay consistent for 1 year, you invest $1,300. If you stay consistent for 5 years, you invest $6,500. If you stay consistent for 10 years, you invest $13,000. And the key idea here is not just the amount of money, it is the habit behind it. Because most people do not fail in investing due to lack of opportunity. They fail due to lack of consistency. They stop early, they lose patience, or they underestimate what small amounts can become over long periods of time. But Arista Networks, as a growth-oriented technology infrastructure company, is often discussed in the context of long-term innovation cycles. That means its value is tied to broader technological adoption trends, not just short-term market sentiment. And that is exactly why it fits into this channel's philosophy. We are not trying to make investing complicated. We are trying to make it consistent. $25 per week. One habit, one direction, one long-term vision. And Arista Networks becomes the case study we use to understand how that simple habit interacts with a company operating at the center of modern digital infrastructure. Because when you zoom out far enough, investing stops being about daily price changes and starts becoming about participation in global progress. And that is the mindset we are building here. To really understand why Arista Networks matters, we first need to simplify what it actually does in a way that makes sense even if you are completely new to investing. At its core, Arista Networks is a company that builds high-performance networking equipment and software. In simple terms, it creates the systems that allow computers, servers, and data centers to communicate with each other at extremely fast speeds and with extremely high reliability. Now you might be thinking, why is that important? Because the modern world runs on data. Every time you watch a video online, send a message, use a mobile app, store a file in the cloud, or interact with artificial intelligence, that information has to travel through a massive global network of interconnected systems. And that network must be fast, stable, and able to handle enormous amounts of traffic at the same time. This is where Arista Networks becomes essential. Instead of focusing on consumer devices like phones or laptops, Arista Networks focuses on the infrastructure layer of the internet. That means it builds the backbone that powers cloud computing companies, data centers, and large-scale enterprise systems. Now let's connect this to real-world demand. The world is currently going through 3 major technological shifts. First, cloud computing expansion. Companies are moving away from local servers and into massive cloud platforms that require high-speed networking to function efficiently. Second, artificial intelligence growth. AI models require huge amounts of data processing, which means data centers must move information between thousands of servers at incredible speed. Third, data explosion. Every app, device, and service today generates continuous streams of data that must be stored, analyzed, and transferred. All 3 of these trends rely heavily on advanced networking infrastructure, and that is exactly the space Arista Networks operates in. So when people look at Arista Networks from an investment perspective, they are not just looking at a traditional hardware company. They are looking at a company that sits at the center of modern digital infrastructure. Now let's talk about why investors find it interesting. One key reason is scalability. As more companies adopt cloud services and artificial intelligence systems expand, the need for faster and more efficient networking solutions continues to grow. This creates long-term demand for companies that can provide those solutions. Another reason is specialization. Arista Networks is known for focusing on high-performance switching and software-driven networking solutions. Instead of trying to do everything, it focuses on being extremely efficient in its niche. And finally, long-term positioning. The world is not moving backward in technology. It is moving forward into more data-heavy systems, more automation, and more connectivity. That means the demand for networking infrastructure is not temporary. It is structural. Now let's connect this back to your $25 a week strategy. When you invest in Arista Networks, you are not trying to predict short-term price movement. You are aligning yourself with a long-term technological trend. You are essentially saying that you believe data usage will continue to grow, cloud systems will continue to expand, and artificial intelligence will continue to scale. And if those things continue to happen, then companies like Arista Networks remain important players in that ecosystem. However, it is also important to understand something very clearly. Investing in growth companies comes with volatility. Prices can rise and fall significantly over short periods of time. That is why consistency matters more than timing. This is exactly why the $25 weekly strategy is powerful. It removes emotional decision-making. You are not trying to guess the best moment to invest. You are simply building a consistent position over time. Arista Networks is important because it powers the infrastructure behind cloud computing, artificial intelligence, and modern internet systems. It is not a consumer-facing brand. It is a foundational technology company that operates behind the scenes of the digital world. And if those systems continue to grow, then the demand for its products may continue to grow alongside them. That is the long-term thesis many investors are watching. And that is why it fits into this $25 a week investing journey. Now that we understand what Arista Networks does and why it matters in the modern technology landscape, the next step is to zoom out and compare its historical performance against a broader market benchmark. For this comparison, we will use the S&P 500 index, which represents 500 of the largest companies in the United States across multiple industries. This index is often used as a baseline for long-term market performance. The goal here is not to say one is better in every situation, but to understand how a focused technology infrastructure company like Arista Networks has performed compared to the overall market. Let's begin with the S&P 500. Over the past 3 years, the S&P 500 has delivered a growth rate of approximately 20%. Over the past 5 years, it has delivered approximately 13.65% growth. Over the past 10 years, it has delivered approximately 15.72% growth. These numbers represent a diversified, broad market average. The S&P 500 includes companies from every major sector such as healthcare, financials, consumer goods, energy, and technology. Because of that diversification, its growth tends to be more stable, but also more moderate compared to high-growth individual companies. Now let's look at Arista Networks. Over the past 3 years, Arista Networks has delivered a growth rate of approximately 54.57%. Over the past 5 years, it has delivered approximately 49.51% growth. Over the past 10 years, it has delivered approximately 43.91% growth. When you compare these numbers directly, you can immediately see the difference in performance style. The S&P 500 reflects broad economic growth. It is steady, diversified, and designed to represent the overall health of the market. Arista Networks, on the other hand, represents a focused growth company operating in a high-demand technology infrastructure sector. Its performance reflects the expansion of cloud computing, data center scaling, and high-speed networking demand. Now let's break this down in a way that makes it easier to understand. The S&P 500 is like a large fleet of ships moving together across the ocean. Some ships move fast, some move slowly, but the overall direction is stable and balanced. Arista Networks is more like a high-speed vessel operating in a specific lane of that ocean. It is not carrying the entire economy. It is focused on one critical area: digital infrastructure. This difference in focus is important because it explains why the growth rates can look very different over time. However, it is also important to understand something critical about investing. Higher growth potential often comes with higher volatility. That means while companies like Arista Networks may show stronger historical growth, they can also experience larger price swings in both directions compared to a diversified index like the S&P 500. This is why comparing the two is not about choosing one over the other. It is about understanding the role each one plays in a long-term investing strategy. Now let's bring this back to your $25 weekly investment approach. If you are investing consistently into a broad market index like the S&P 500, you are aiming for stable long-term compounding driven by overall economic growth. If you are investing into a company like Arista Networks, you are taking exposure to a specific area of technological expansion, particularly cloud infrastructure and data networking. Both approaches can coexist. In fact, many long-term investors combine broad market exposure with individual growth companies to balance stability and potential upside. But what is most important here is not just the asset, it is the behavior. Because whether you are investing in a broad index or a focused technology company, the real driver of long-term results is consistency over time. That means continuing to invest during strong markets, weak markets, and everything in between. This is where the $25 per week strategy becomes powerful again. It removes the need to compare yourself to short-term performance. It removes the pressure of timing the market, and it replaces emotional decision-making with structured discipline. Over time, that discipline becomes more important than any single percentage difference between investments. So when you look at the numbers, remember this key takeaway. The S&P 500 represents steady, diversified market growth. Arista Networks represents focused, technology-driven growth. One is designed for balance, the other is positioned for innovation. And your job as an investor is not to guess which one will win tomorrow, but to understand how both behave over long periods of time and how your consistent weekly investment fits into that bigger picture. Because in the end, wealth is not built from one decision. It is built from thousands of repeated decisions made consistently over time. Before we continue, it is important to clearly state that this video is for educational and informational purposes only. Nothing in this video should be considered financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. All examples, calculations, projections, and opinions shared in this video are based on general research and personal interpretation for educational storytelling purposes only. Investing always involves risk. The value of investments can go up and down, sometimes significantly, and you may lose part or even all of your invested capital. Past performance does not guarantee future results. Any historical growth rates or projections shown in this video are not promises and should not be treated as guaranteed outcomes. Before making any financial decision, you should always do your own research and consider speaking with a licensed financial professional who understands your personal financial situation. Now let's take a closer look at the historical growth performance of Arista Networks. Over the past 3 years, Arista Networks has shown a growth rate of approximately 54.57%. Over the past 5 years, it has shown a growth rate of approximately 49.51%. And over the past 10 years, it has shown a growth rate of approximately 43.91%. These numbers reflect strong long-term performance driven by the expansion of cloud computing, data center demand, and high-speed networking infrastructure. However, it is also important to remember that these are historical figures, and future performance may look very different depending on market conditions, competition, and technological changes. Now let's break down what happens to your capital investment if you invest $25 every week into Arista Networks. In 1 year, you invest approximately $1,300. In 5 years, you invest approximately $6,500. In 10 years, you invest approximately $13,000. In 15 years, you invest approximately $19,500. In 20 years, you invest approximately $26,000. In 25 years, you invest approximately $32,500. And in 30 years, you invest approximately $39,000. This shows the power of consistency. Even though each individual contribution is small, the total builds steadily over time into a significant investment base. Now let's explore a hypothetical growth scenario for a $25 weekly investment into Arista Networks. After 5 years, you would have invested approximately $6,500, and your investment could potentially grow to around $21,415. After 10 years, you would have invested approximately $13,000, and your investment could potentially grow to around $110,990. After 15 years, you would have invested approximately $15,475, and your investment could potentially grow to around $194,768. For 20 years, 25 years, and 30 years, we are not assigning fixed outcomes because long-term projections become increasingly uncertain and depend heavily on market conditions, company performance, and reinvestment assumptions. The key takeaway is not the exact number. The key takeaway is the compounding effect of time combined with consistent investing. Now let's double the strategy to $50 per week. In 1 year, you invest approximately $2,600. In 5 years, you invest approximately $13,000, and your investment could potentially grow to around $42,830. In 10 years, you invest approximately $26,000, and your investment could potentially grow to around $221,981. In 15 years, you invest approximately $30,950, and your investment could potentially grow to around $389,537. Longer time frames are not projected for the same reason of uncertainty and variability in long-term market behavior. Now let's move to $100 per week. In 1 year, you invest approximately $5,200. In 5 years, you invest approximately $26,000, and your investment could potentially grow to around $85,660. In 10 years, you invest approximately $52,000, and your investment could potentially grow to around $443,963. In 15 years, you invest approximately $61,900, and your investment could potentially grow to around $779,074. Now at $150 per week. In 1 year, you invest approximately $7,800. In 5 years, you invest approximately $39,000. And your investment could potentially grow to around $128,491. In 10 years, you invest approximately $78,000, and your investment could potentially grow to around $665,945. In 15 years, you invest approximately $92,850, and your investment could potentially grow to around $1,168,612. Now let's increase to $200 per week. In 1 year, you invest approximately $10,400. In 5 years, you invest approximately $52,000, and your investment could potentially grow to around $171,321. In 10 years, you invest approximately $104,000, and your investment could potentially grow to around $887,927. In 15 years, you invest approximately $123,800, and your investment could potentially grow to around $1,558,149. Now at $250 per week. In 1 year, you invest approximately $13,000. In 5 years, you invest approximately $65,000, and your investment could potentially grow to around $214,152. In 10 years, you invest approximately $130,000, and your investment could potentially grow to around $1,109,909. In 15 years, you invest approximately $154,750, and your investment could potentially grow to around $1,947,686. Now finally, at $300 per week. In 1 year, you invest approximately $15,600. In 5 years, you invest approximately $78,000, and your investment could potentially grow to around $256,982. In 10 years, you invest approximately $156,000, and your investment could potentially grow to around $1,331,891. In 15 years, you invest approximately $185,700, and your investment could potentially grow to around $2,337,224. So what does all of this really mean? It means that even a small weekly amount like $25 can become meaningful over time when combined with consistency and long-term investing discipline. And as you increase your weekly investment to $50, $100, $200, or even $300, the potential long-term impact grows significantly. But the most important factor is not the amount, it is the consistency. Because investing is not about doing something once, it is about doing something repeatedly over many years. And if you continue investing into Arista Networks or any strong long-term company while staying disciplined, you give compounding time to work in your favor. In future videos, we will explore other major companies such as Nvidia, Apple, Microsoft, Meta, Tesla, Amazon, and Google. We will compare them, analyze their long-term behavior, and see how each one performs under the same $25 weekly strategy. And eventually, you will start to see a clearer picture of how different companies behave over time and which ones may fit your personal investing journey. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe to the $25 Investor so you do not miss future breakdowns. Thank you for watching.